Hey everybody, how's it going? Brbteabreak here today for another World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth video. Today we're checking out the Arcane Mage. If you want to check out other specs and classes in World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth Alpha, check out my playlist below where I have a majority of the classes covered and I'm covering a new one every day. So the Arcane Mage hasn't changed too much, but it's changed enough in my opinion that it's actually kind of different, but you'll be doing the same style of things still. So firstly, as with all classes in the game, artifact weapons are now gone. For the Arcane Mage, that means no more Mark of Elunif, which affects your AoE damage quite severely, actually, at least the burst AoE damage. You used to get mana back also from it, but it wasn't too major. The big ones for this, anyway, for the weapon, is Arcane Power, which is your best trait currently alive, I'm pretty sure. You used to get 7 seconds increased duration with the 7 traits there. You only now get... well, you get none. You only get 10 seconds by default, which is really, really low for Arcane Power. Especially when you consider that Arcane Power now has a GCD, so you're losing 1 second immediately, so you're getting 9 seconds of Arcane Power versus 17 on live, which is pretty major. At the same time, Arcane Explosion now no longer has increased radius, because the trait's now gone, only 10-yard range, and you don't get the double Arcane Explosion either, which is pretty... it's not a major change, but it's more of a visual thing. But I think this is fine, to be honest. Now, the gameplay change for Arcane Mage is through Arcane Charges, Arcane Missiles, and I guess Arcane Blast in a weird way also. So first, let's go Arcane Charges. Arcane Charges currently only affect Arcane Blast, and they increase the damage also of Arcane Barrage. They don't affect your Arcane Missiles, they don't affect your Arcane Explosion. So this means now this is purely a single target, I guess if you want to count Arcane Barrage's AoE, but a single target kind of thing to work out now. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to keep having this really hard hitting Arcane Blast. Arcane Missiles don't generate Arcane Blast either anymore, so it's the only way to generate them is Arcane Blast, only way to spend them is Arcane Barrage, and only way to do bonus damage with them is with these two abilities. Next, let's talk about Arcane Missiles. You want to start there. So Arcane Missiles isn't a proc anymore, it's a baseline ability. You can press the button whenever you want and cast some Arcane Missiles. It's pretty expensive, it's slightly worse than Arcane Blast, if Arcane Blast is at full stacks, but you can obviously cast it whenever you want if you really want to. Now, you get clear casting now from your Arcane abilities. When you deal, well sorry, when you use any sort of mana, you actually have a chance of gaining this clear casting state, getting your next Arcane Barrage, so Arcane Missile or Arcane Explosion to be free. So you could buff your raid and technically get a cast of clear casting. Let's just see if we can get lucky here. 8% chance per cast. Maybe not. No luck today, boys. Very laggy too, I apologize. Well, no procs right now, but you could that could happen. That's what you saw before. I was getting Arcane Missile procs by casting Arcane Missile. But, yeah, the big thing here, in my opinion, is that Arcane Missile has no stacks anymore. So before, you'd actually bank up multiple stacks to go into Arcane Power with do really, really big damage. Now you can't. I have Arcane Missiles, you know, free clear casting proc here. I have to use it. Because if I don't, there's a chance to override it, and I can't get multiple stacks. Let's try and get multiple stacks here. We'll show you. The duration will reset. We're not going to get it, are we? Nope. But the duration will just reset, and you actually wouldn't get another charge of it, which really sucks. So, there you go. It forces you to press Arcane Missiles immediately when you see this. If you're a wing, it's not too bad because you just use an Arcane Explosion, which is slightly worse in terms of mana saving, but you're AoEing anyway, you don't really care too much. And as I said, the last one is Arcane Blast. So Arcane Blast interacts differently slightly with Arcane Barrage now. Sorry, Arcane Charges. There's too many Arcanes, I apologize. So Arcane Blast, by baseline, does 64% increased damage, whereas 60 on live. It costs 100%, 125% more mana on live, only 100 here. But now, you get reduced cast time. So at 4 stacks of Arcane Charges, which is pretty common, you have 32% more haste when you're casting Arcane Blast, which is pretty nice if you didn't realize. Your Arcane Blast cast time, 1.23 at 24% haste, which is obviously crappy gear. This gear I have right now is about the same item level as Tuma Sagaris. Might be high now because I'm wearing a Cephus, but it's about Tuma Sagaris gear. So this is pretty low in my opinion. yeah, it seems pretty solid. Yeah, it seems pretty good so far, at least with the Arcane charge there. So a lot of your damage now come from Arcane Blast, it feels like. A very fast gameplay. What else should we note here? That's about it for the big gameplay changes for the class itself. So mathematic-wise, with the whole clear casting thing, currently on live you get 34% chance to get a clear casting Arcane Missile proc when you cast Arcane Barrage. Now it's only 27.5, which is a fair bit lower. But the big kicker here is that low charges of Arcane Blast, you have no chance. At this is base level here, 5.5% chance. At this one here, 11% chance. Next one, 16.5, 22, and now it's 27.5. So you're going to be getting less of these when you're building up your charges, but it feels like anyway you can be at max charges for longer now, due to the mana cost reduction in the Arcane Blast by default. And also Evocation change. Evocation cooldown is now 1.5 minutes. On live, I am 90% sure it's 3 minutes. It might be 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure it's 3 minutes though. But Evocation cooldown is reduced either way from the live version. So you can do this much more often now, which is pretty effective. Be that mana cost reduction plus the haste, you'll be spamming these things out. So in a way, I haven't mapped it out, I'm not a math magician, but you probably will get the same amount of procs per minute at max charges anyway, because you have so much more cast speed now. But we'll see how that plays out in the end. The Arcane Missile is not affected by Arcane charges, it's pretty major. Doesn't matter when you press this, as long as you press it, you can do it at 0 charges, 4 charges, doesn't generate any charges either. And an Arcane Explosion, it generates charges, but it doesn't increase in mana cost or in damage as you go up. So yeah, the big one I think there is just the Arcane Missile only being 1 stack. I think that's a big mistake in my opinion. I think having at least 2 would be nice. Being as a Frost style, it just forces you to use these so quickly now. Anyway, let's go to some slightly more changes. Also, Arcane Missile cast time is 2.5 seconds by default. This is 2 seconds with haste. On live, it's 2 seconds. So Arcane Missiles is much slower now. As I said before, Evocation, lower cooldown, and the gives you mana regen, where on live it gives you max mana. I'm not too sure how this is going to play out or why it matters or anything. It comes back more steady, which is really nice. If I can come spend some mana here, you'll see when I do it, instead of being big chunks like the live server, now it's just a steady flow of mana back, which is slightly worse because on live you get like I think 25% instantly and then like 20% after that on ticks, but now you just get tons of mana regen in the cast, which is it's nice, but really it doesn't change too much the whole mana regen thing. There was some interesting things, I guess they removed it though. Evocation at one point had no channel duration, I'm pretty sure, and you just press the button and you get mana regen back, so it was like a buff nearly. I think it's how it just sounded like it was worded, but anyway, I could be wrong there. But maybe we get like a talent or something later on to make Evocation keep going after. Like for example, Temporal Flux, which is getting reworked, it makes Evocation keep going. So I'm not too sure why that'd matter. Like the mana regen there, it wouldn't matter either. Temporal Flux on live, for example, just makes you have a lower cast time on Arcane Barrage. So this is different. Excuse me there. This is different, but it doesn't work right now. I guess the thing is, if you could pick this, you could actually cast Evocation, get to like maybe from 0 to 70% mana, and then just start your rotation. Doesn't seem like it's worth it though currently. But yeah, that is it for the changes. Let's go through some talents now. So talents that have changed from the live version. Firstly is Resonance. It does less damage per charge now. It's only, or target hit, it's 15% here. On live it's 25, I like to say, which is a lot more. We also have Charged Up, now has a GCD with it, which makes it a lot weaker in my opinion, but it has a visual. I don't know it has a visual on live, who knows, it's always keybound to, always macroed into an Arcane Blast anyway, so it's not seeing animation I guess. And last but not least for talents, I guess it's actually pretty major, is that Slipstream on live makes it so when you cast Arcane Missile, you can move, but obviously you can only cast Arcane Missiles during a clear casting proc, or an Arcane Missile proc, whatever you want to call it. Where here, they've done that also, which means you don't get much movement from this, because you only can hold one Arcane Missile clear casting proc, and you have to spend it straight away. So, let's say movement, here we go, the movement's in 3 seconds from now. What do I do here? If I press it now, I'm going to lose the proc, and then I have to, cast spells again. If I keep spamming Arcane Blast, I'm going to then possibly waste my proc of clear casting, which is going to really suck. It's why I think they need 2 charges at least for this ability. It'd mean you can actually, bang things up a little bit, be smart if your gameplay. Kind of a dumb move in my opinion there with the change. I kind of mentioned Temporal Flux has changed, now it gives you that Evocation bonus, I guess. This, as they're not implemented yet, I don't think it's a strong enough either on this row compared to Overpowered, which literally makes you do, 60% increased damage during this burst window, which I guess is heavily nerfed now, so maybe this is viable. Okay, let's talk about these new talents up here. I kind of mentioned it, but rules of 3s. So this makes it so when you gain your 3rd charge of Arcane Power, your next Arcane Blast or Arcane Missile is now free. So it's not generating 3 randomly over a set of Battle of Time. It's actually, so this for example, did a 2, this 1 here won't give me the charge. It's when you physically gain that 3rd charge. So here's the 3rd charge. Oh, I don't have the talent set. Oh god. We're in combat. Here we go. So that 3rd charge would actually give you the proc. So I don't get any right now because I'm already at 4. Let's go for that 3rd charge right now. Blammo. We got a clear casting proc here. It's actually used to consume both before. And now I have a free Arcane Blast or Arcane Missile. You have some choice here because if you press Arcane Blast, you're going to obviously get to those 4 stacks, which is pretty important. But if you Arcane Missile, it costs more mana than the current Arcane Blast would, because it's only 2200 at 3 stacks. And it does more damage at 3 stacks, which is, there's some gameplay there, but I'm not too sure. Maybe blink in an Arcane Explosion, because Arcane Explosion is, like, going to cost you mana, but then you can save more mana for the big one. I don't really know, boys and girls, but that could be a thing possibly. It's an odd one. It makes it so you just get a bit more, like, longer burn phase. You have to hit Arcane Barrage, but it feels like you get your mana back really passively now. And last but not least, this is a very cool one actually, Mana Adept. So this is where I can see a Mastery build really going off, except Mastery doesn't scale with your Arcane Charges abilities. So you don't get increased damage with Arcane Explosion. It's not affected by the spell, Arcane Explosion. So Mastery is going to be completely useless, I feel, on the live servers. I think that's how, I'm not sure, like live servers says, it's the same wording I think, Arcane Charges increase the damage of affected spells. But Arcane Missile isn't affected anymore. I guess maybe it doesn't. I'm actually not too sure about that one. Don't quote me on that one there. If it's different though, sure. But I'm not too sure what they mean by the term affected. It's kind of hard to test it also because if I take my gear off to have a lower mastery, well, I do less damage by default. But yeah, it could be different. It could not be. Who knows? Where was I going with that tangent there? Okay, so Mana Adept. So when you're above 80% mana, you cast 2 additional sets of Arcane Missiles. So generally it's only 3 Arcane Missiles, but now I get 5. There you go, 5. Oh. 6 even. Game. Pretty sure it's oh, how's it look? Is it always 5? I thought it was 3. Anyway. Maybe it is 8. Anyway, pretty much while you're above this, you get a lot of Arcane Missiles. Same mana cost though, and the thing is, obviously, Arcane Missiles can give you clear casting procs. So, by doing this, you could get more of these. So your opening rotation, if you pick his talent, could possibly be stand here, Arcane Missiles, continuously. Heroism doesn't give you increased mana regen in any way, but if it did, holy hell. Bit of Arcane Power. Let's do a bit of this. Here we go. Let's do a bit of this. Let's put one of these runes down. Maybe we can get another one of these off. Arcane Power. Probably should have done this together. There we go. Arcane Missiles. We're going to be getting our mana back pretty much by doing this now. And you see here, I'm pressing one button, and I'm doing some pretty good damage if I had a damage meter. So maybe doing more Mastery here could be good. I'm not too sure, as I said, I'm not too sure how that Savant Mastery works currently with the ability, but something to look into, something to be quite interesting. Arcane Orb, I should say, still gives you the charges, but whatever. It's only like I guess you did a Mythic Plus. But yeah, that is the Arcane Mage. I'm sorry if it's all over the place here. It's definitely my least played Mage spec. And some of the things are a little awkward. I'm not too sure what they're aiming for here with the Arcane Mage. It feels like the whole Arcane charge system has just been neutered. It definitely feels like a dumbed down spec to the live version, where you have a lot of things like holding your Arcane Missiles, even if you pick Slipstream, which people definitely do. It's the most popular talent, I'm pretty sure. Having less movement options now as an Arcane Mage is really bad. Your AoE is now severely weak because it doesn't scale with Arcane Explosion. If it does more damage by default, maybe it's the same as a forward charge in the live service. I'm not too sure, I can't check that out exactly, but look at the mana cost here. I'm going to go out of mana from spamming Arcane Explosion. And even if I barrage, it doesn't help me. Like, I guess now it's nice I get to use Arcane Barrage as an AoE ability, but I'm out of mana now. And there's nothing I can do to fix this. I can Evocate, sure, obviously, but on live, I could at least, you know, I could cast the Barrage and cast Arcane Explosion again, and it'd be cheap. But it's not cheap right now, it's bloody expensive. It's definitely an interesting little class. We'll see how it plays out. Actually, I totally forgot. Arcane Barrage cooldown is severely reduced. Arcane Barrage cooldown on live is like 4 seconds, I'm pretty sure. And here it's 3. So 4.5 live and it's 3 seconds here. I'm not too sure why it's not cleaving here. I think it just might be bugging out with the mobs, you know. Alpha is alpha. There we go, it's cleaving those ones now. But yeah, that's the Arcane Mage. A spec that I think will get a change here and there. I think this talent here could be very interesting if they change it slightly. I don't think it's powerful enough yet. If it was something like Evocation lasts for like 10 seconds after, or maybe 10 seconds might be too powerful, who knows. But overpowered is so good it feels like, but then I said it got nerfed slightly. We'll see how it plays it in the end. Still a long way to go. Obviously Azeroth gear also going to change this quite a lot. Like Arcane Blast deals additional damage while you have 4 charges. 240 is a lot. Saying you're doing about 2400 damage, that's 10%. And saying it's most likely it's going to be your most damaging skill. We'll see how this plays out. The mastery builds for Arcane Mage might be back, who knows? Oh, look at this. I should have heard it first, but you get the idea. Bam. There's instant Arcane Blast. Don't get any procs. I guess that's one thing also. When you Arcane Power, you're going to get less procs of Arcane Missile because you're spending less mana. Which I guess hurts the class too. I'm out of mana now though. Uh-oh. Look at that. Arcane Barrage is already back up. Going between Charged Up and Arcane Barrage. That's pretty cool. Evocation. Let's get that free cast here. I guess it's nice that you can just cast these whenever you want, but I think that you definitely have charges. At least 2. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Sorry for ranting so much there. And I'll see you guys next time.